It's something that I actually haven't written some notes about. Probably not include that in the final cut. Hey guys, it's Amesh.
And I'm Suva.
And this is our top 10 albums of 2021, part 2.
Yay.
Oh, I like that. Starting with Asuva. Number 5.
My number 5 is Call Me If You Get Lost by Tyler, the Creator. Yeah.
What? I don't know. Okay. Talk.
So, all right.
Say your truth.
So Tyler, the Creator needs no introduction. One of the biggest artists in the mainstream right now. And I think he's on the best 3-album run in recent memory. Probably the last one before that was probably Kendrick. With Flatboy, Eagle, and now this, Call Me If You Get Lost. Don't get me wrong, I think Call Me If You Get Lost is a good album. That's why it's my number 5. He goes with a different sort of feel this time. He mixes these lush, luxurious beats with these gritty mixtape vibes. He's rapping a lot more on this album. This is essentially his victory lap. This is his, sort of watch the throne. This is his, I made it. I'm at the top. I'm in my prime. Very brash. Think that I Thought You Wanted to Dance has like a Thomas the Tank Engine sort of sound with reggae in it. Like he's definitely still evolving, and I do appreciate that. And he also still has those sort of emotional moments that make Eagle and Flatboy so compelling, with tracks like Will Shear and Massa.
Sweet.
I just think that it's just as a cohesive whole, just doesn't hold up to his last 2 projects. Sort of the grand moments don't come across they don't land as well. So was it Sweet Slash, I Thought You Wanted to Dance, and Will Shear, although they're fun tracks, and especially Will Shear, has some nice storytelling, it's not as compelling as I think Tyler can be. What did you think of the album?
I'm not going to talk about it because I'm going to talk about it later. This one I'm so shocked. I was just like, yeah. But it's definitely a great album. It's a really good album. Yeah.
I think it is very lavish, but I like how he still mixes that up with sort of very grimy, dirty beats and his own production.
That drop
I feel like a lot of people were like, "Where's Wolf Tyler? Where's Wolf Tyler?" Got a little bit of that.
Wolf Tyler,
got a little bit of that on this album. But the thing is, I prefer Flower Boy and Eagle Tyler to Wolf Tyler. So maybe it's just preference, really. I still think it's definitely continuing his current run. I still think he's exploring new territory. I think it's just difficult with Tyler when he has such high expectations. It definitely has some really hard headbanging moments, like Corsa,
Lumberjack,
Lemonhead, the one with Pharrell and Lil Uzi on it.
Was it stuff? That's the what? Not Juggernaut. Safari, Juggernaut. That's it, Juggernaut.
Like it definitely has moments. It's very hype, this album. So much so that it made me appreciate Flower Boy level more and be like, oh, that was really chill and sort of, I don't know, it sort of has that autumn vibe. This is very much like a summer vibe.
Oh yeah, we got our toes out. We're still on the boat. Still on the boat. Still on the boat.
That's my favorite ad-lib of the year. Still on the boat.
Yeah, still on the boat. Oh, it's got my favorite. I'll talk about it more later, but it's got my favorite skit in it.
It's always
get it, mom, get it.
Yeah, I mean, it's almost a cliche, isn't it? Bring your mum onto your mixtape. But like, it's really sweet to see how much like him she is. You're like, oh, okay, that's where it gets from.
Literally, shut your bitch ass. Oh my, that transition between that skit and then the next track, the
like he's still on top of his production game.
So my number 5 is an album you spoke about before, so I don't think I need to speak about it too much, but it's Lil Sims.
Lil Sims.
Sometimes I might be an introvert.
What did you like about it?
This album is a Disney movie. I really like. I'm a sucker for a good narrative. I'm a sucker for just being transported to a different place sonically. It's like Fantasia and the never-ending story vibes with all the skits that they have in it, like the fairy godmother aspect, stuff like that. If you don't know about Lil Sims, this is a cool introduction to her as well, to her different flows and the different kind of like takes she has on sounds. and she creates so many different soundscapes within this
Yeah,
album.
she's very versatile.
So versatile. That's a great word.
Not just
Yeah,
rapping,
literally.
singing.
So versatile, and her vision for this album, her story, what she's trying to portray is very clear. You know, she's a strong Black woman trying to navigate this world while being loving to herself and trying to understand herself as well as her peers. And this is what you get out of this album. This album passes the vibe check. Like it's so epic, so grand, but where it kind of drops for me, it felt a bit saturated at some points. Like it felt like some of the skits could have been shorter, or like there was a natural end to the album for me, and it just continued a bit. I was like, okay, this is a long movie, just like Lord of the Rings extended edition. And I just wanted like a shorter version, which isn't bad, but yeah, I thought the other albums on my list did a better job of kind of being more concise, and I could get through a lot more. Like I didn't listen to this album as much as I wanted to this year, but the times I did listen to it, I really appreciated it and enjoyed the journey I was on. It was really good. So my number four, purely because it definitely passed the vibe check, and I've listened to it so much. It's by a little band that I like to call Silk Sonic.
Hey.
An evening with Silk Sonic. Silk Sonic is the band, or the duo composed of Anderson .Paak and Bruno fucking Mars. This album is just so replayable. Like there's so many like bangers in it. I got a caveat. I'm gonna say straight away: the first half is stronger than the second half. The first half by far makes up for the second half. And because of that, you can just keep on replaying it, and it's such like every song you can just vibes to. It's got like this overarching narrative of like having fun, falling in love, breaking up, and then trying to get back with someone, but then also having fun at the same time. Like such a cheeky, tongue-in-cheek album with so many funny laugh out loud moments. Like the lyricism, like you can tell how much fun they had making.
I think Anderson .Paak brings a lot of flavor and character to the album.
He's so much life. There's so much life.
So much charisma. Like when he's like, I think it's from Smoking Out the Window. He goes, "This bitch
got me." Like it's just so funny. Like it's just a very fun album, and you can just forget about everything that's on your mind, play it, and just sing along, and it's just banter.
I think the first time I didn't listen to this, I was gyrating on everything. Like I was impregnating. I think I told you I was impregnating all my furniture. I was on the lamp. I was like on the plug socket.
All over the house.
I was on like the laundry basket. Everything was getting it. Everything was getting it. Everything was getting it.
I've got it up now. Smoking out the window. Leave the door open. Fly as me. Skate was a bit mad. Blast Off. One of the vibiest albums of this year. It's a perfect tribute album to an era gone by, and it's done respectfully. It does a great job of introducing new people into the genre of this like kind of old town funk, kind of old school like R&B fusion. It's just it just does perfect well. The only gripes I have with it is the second half. The latter half is not as strong as the first, but it's got everyone I've talked to this album about, they're up on their feet, vibes in with it, singing with it whenever they hear it.
My number 4 is Romeo by Sega Bodega. Romeo is an album by Glasgow producer Sega Bodega. Hyperpop meets alternative R&B meets glitchy, ethereal sounds. The way I describe this album is it's a mix of these really sweet, dreamy vocals and textures, which are really heavenly and soothing, with these harsh, glitchy beats that get you moving and grooving. I don't know, it just sounds like this bittersweet melancholy of the future in its more quiet moments. I love how he uses pitch shifting. I love how he just sounds like a robot angel serenading me to sleep. On tracks like Angel on My Shoulder.
Robot Angel, you know, that's a bit mad still.
It's just I just really like how he meshes those two worlds at the same time of this gentle sound with this more harsh sound to create this soundscape that's still very cohesive, still very catchy, has lots of catchy refrains and stuff in the head, and how just like he takes a lot of left turns with his sound. You know, there's sort of like a reggaeton inspired track with Parker, there's a track with French, there's a lot of these sort of earworm sample hooks. But yeah, if you're looking into something from this sort of hyper pop, alternative R&B, ethereal, futuristic lane, I highly recommend.
Nice. What's your number 3?
My number 3, Roadrunner, New Light, New Machine by Brockhampton.
And if you want to know what he thought about that album, go check out our other video.
Yeah, exactly. I'll keep it brief because we've already reviewed it in detail. This album, you know, after a review, I sort of left it to the side of it, and I came back to it and I was like, this still holds up.
Did you revisit it a lot after?
I took a break from it, and then I came back to it and I was like, I still feel the same way about it. Especially that second half of When I Ball, What's the Occasion, I'll Take You On, Don't Shoot Up the Party, and Like Part 2. It's just like bam, 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 bam. It's just,
don't shoot up the pew.
I love that moment. And even the start has like bangers like Buzzcut. I just feel like it's them at their most focused in a long time, them at their most cohesive and mature. It's not perfect by any means, but I think it's just got a lot of standout tracks that I really enjoy.
For me, that album kind of just didn't see myself revisiting it that much. So there were tracks I liked, and I'd pick out like Buzzcut. I mean, such a bang. I think that was one of my most played songs of this year. Yeah,
that song's insane.
Literally, just like it hits on so many different levels. But as an album, it's like never really wanted to revisit it. So my number 3 is King's Disease 2 by Nas. The King has returned.
Hit boy.
Yo, this album is the G-Check album, bro. This is this is like the I'm still here. Let me wake you up. Let me remind you who I am kind of album. Like, I feel like he comes back now and then to be like, yo, what? What's the scene saying? Have you forgotten about me? He's like trying to remind everyone, I am actually the greatest that ever lived. He's just such a he's just an amazing like lyricist, like just hip hop entity. It's like his 5th Victory Lap album. As well as like sharing some stories from his past. Like he talks about Park, he talks about some death row incidences. There's a lot of like G-funk kind of sounds in there. There's also some kind of like calm, like soothing sounds, like in the second half, a bit more kind of mellow. There's like death row gym bangers in there, but there's also like, let me sit down, let me talk to you kind of about tracks in there too. He dabbles in like the trap sound as well, and it really works. And from listening to some of the tracks, you can tell how some of the people who've like cited him as influences get it from. Like you hear him on a trap sound, and you can hear J. Cole. Eminem's also on one of the tracks, and I think he gives one of his best verses he's given in a long time. Some of my favorite songs in it were like Death Row East, EPMD, and Store Run. But yeah, it's not any higher because I think there are more albums that deserve it. It's kind of like a passing the torch album as well, because he says like, there's a new generation of rappers out there within the album essentially, and like, they do bits. I'm just trying to keep you guys, he's like passing the torch. They can do their thing, but just remember where you came from. I don't know why I did this. Why am I sung Vijay?
So my number 2 is Juno by Remy Wolf. This is the most.
Oh my god, I didn't see that coming.
This is the most fun I've had with an album this year. If you sort of go for purely what I've been singing along to while driving to work, this wins hands down. This mix of funk, 2000s pop, hip hop, rock, and lo-fi sounds to create this multicolored explosion of a record. It has so much character and style. It feels like she's a cartoon character almost on this record. She has this childish, manic energy. Everything is just maximum saturation. Everything just turned up to 11.
To the max. Yeah.
The max. Like everything is front and center. Everything's in bass. I'm not to say it doesn't have more quiet moments, which I do think also work, where she shows some genuine emotion.
But the majority is colourful. It's so colourful.
The hooks are super catchy. Like sexy villain. I just been like sexy villain. Old man, where she talks about having a long hair, long beard, turtleneck sweater to describe how introverted she is and how she doesn't want to. That's another thing. This album is actually pretty funny as well. Like, she has so many funny lines on this album. So I'm so defensive. I got boobies on my booty, or talking about how getting her ass eaten like a human centipede.
Yeah, she's got no filter, which is sometimes refreshing.
or having an orgy with Five Guys at Five Guys, the restaurant. Quite on set. Sounds like something straight out of 2000s hip hop. Sounds like something Nelly would have been on.
Yeah.
Brought it back with a fresh new sound. I feel like she takes a lot of creative risks on this album, and it will pay off. This is an incredibly fun record.
My number 2 is actually an album we've discussed before. It's from Dave, Waitt, because I'm not going to say the whole name. You can check out our video for our full description. But similar to what you said about Roadrunner, after we did a review, I saw myself revisit the album. I really tapped into the circular kind of like nature of the narrative there, where it's just like the end seamlessly linked back to the beginning, and it's even though it's quite a sad album, it's like the sad aspect of like the lockdown and like struggling with mental health and like the state of the country that we live in and all that stuff. But as an album itself, like for me, I could revisit it and be taken on this journey, and like you feel a sense of, weirdly, because it's a circle, it doesn't really complete, but I feel complete because I feel like, okay, I'm back to the start. I can kind of delve into it again, or like I'm back to the start, and also my journey is finished. I can kind of jump off. It was weirdly satisfying to listen to it, and it's got amazing tracks on it, standalone tracks on it as well.
It's an enjoyable record. I do like how he sort of digs down into his big 8-minute songs and puts the focus on his lyricism. And you know, in the past I thought he can be a bit cringy, but I think for the most part he hits a nail on the head here.
Got genuine.
Yeah.
Genuine. No pony. My number 1 album of 2021 is Call Me If You Get Lost by Tyler, the Creator. As I said before, the guy creates a lavish travel album in the midst of a pandemic, coming off the hotly kind of like award-winning album of Eagle. Where does he take from here? He takes it where no one knew where he'd take it, and it just works so well. It's just like a full 50-minute journey, 16 tracks in 50 minutes, and it's got just so many layers to it. It's got this high level of like, you know, flex, victory lap. We're on holidays now. Yo, we're on a boat. We're in Geneva. The water fresh. Yeah, we all got our toes out. You know, I got this lady feeding me, you know, French vanilla. But just beneath that, they sprinkle this like kind of sub-narrative of this like love story, of this love triangle thing, and that was cool. You can dip in and dip out of that. On top of that, another layer is like his kind of like reminiscing of like his journey getting here as well. Like, yo, addressing past issues of like why Cherry Bomb sounded so shifty. Yeah, boy, he's going through puberty, man. Like things happen. You have just so many different vibes. Talking about him moving out of his hometown to like New York for the first time, how it opened his eyes. Like, it's such a compelling, it felt genuine to him, so it just felt like a real album. Every creative choice, every mad beat drop. Like, what was the one with like the mad
that one.
Yeah, that one. Yeah, Manifesto. Literally, just like, how does he think of this? Like, it's just so interesting to listen to. And every time you listen to it, you hear some of the bars, and just like, raw. Like, he's so good. He's just got so much power, so much control. Like, he controls the flow, he controls his beats, he controls what he wants to say so much, and to the point. Everything he says has a purpose, and just a really enjoyable listen. This album gave me, we'll call it my like Spider-Man, like my mesh tingle. It just gave me like goosebumps. Mesh tingle.
Direction?
Yeah, it just gave me goosebumps. Like, you just get so vibesy with it, especially like with some of the sweeter tracks as well. Like when he's talking about his heartbreak and stuff like that. Like, you can really like feel it. So,
that was your number one. My number one comes as, no surprise, Smiling with No Teeth, Genesis Owusu.
Yeah. And if you want to know about that album, check out our other video.
Yeah, I think this album kind of came out of nowhere for me. It's a very unique project in terms of sound and concept. The story he tells on the backdrop of funk, hip hop, neo soul, punk rock, and synth rock, talking about these concepts of his own personal depression, as well as increasing the scope to racism and decisive commentary. You know, it's such an ambitious, sprawling concept, and it still keeps quite a tight, cohesive narrative, in my opinion. He still pulls it off. I don't think anything really sounds like this album from this year.
We did it, guys.
We did it.
So those were our top 10 albums of 2021. What did you think? Did you agree? Did you not? Tell us down below in the comments.
Yeah, what were your favorite albums? Let's see.
Anything more to say?
Nah. It's
like, subscribe, all that good stuff if you want. We're not the boss of you. What new music awaits us in the new year, in the new frontier? Will I stop rhyming? Will I continue rhyming? Who knows? Will I drop my mixtape?